Welcome back to Wook Plus on Weekend Wook, joined by T and Kev, the great one, the one and only. What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy
Night
Wednesday.
off.
Night off. Oh yeah, I know. It's been a lift, man, with the Dead and Co. after shows, and then when Fish Tour starts, we're gonna be busy. But I still
Not
like
going to
Wednesday
stop.
night.
Not
Hell
going to
no.
stop through August.
No, we got to keep it going. Before we get into the topics for tonight, I would take the quick moment at the top to say like and subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, share this shit with all your Wook friends. And if you feel so inclined, hit that super thanks because we need to get Kevin a new mic.
Coming tomorrow. It's being delivered early.
Don't tell them that, man. That's our big, it's like a charity fundraiser. You got to get the thermometer like shaped like a mic.
Yeah.
We got to get Kev. Well, all right. I mean, since you two are here and you're always here, but you guys have been keeping dibs on Dead and Co. so far this tour. Maybe we could start there. And what do you guys think about this tour so far, the final tour? Have they been living up to expectations, hitting it, and how have they been doing?
I'm exhausted.
Already.
It's not even like late nights for me. Well, it has the first few where it's finally gotten to East Coast times, but it's exhausting. I'll tell you that. I don't know how I guess that's why they're taking nights off in between everything. Because thank God for that. It's not like Phish was 3-night runs and stuff. So that's at least good. Shows have been great though. I think we talked the other night. I think Phoenix has been the best all around show so far. That's kind of our leading tier one, if you will, leader.
Oh, we're gonna do that.
And then
we're keeping a live running rank that we aren't writing down.
No, we aren't. We're just seeing if anything ever beats
Phoenix. And reserve the right Phoenix to change at any point.
Right now we have Dallas at the bottom, then North Carolina, then the two forums, and then Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
But they've been really good. I mean, the set lists, especially the second sets, as we've talked about in the after shows a little bit, the second set lists have been powerhouses, like just fantastic, and played really well too for the most part, like really enjoyable. So yeah, I think it's been great.
Matt's doing a good job.
It's the John Mayer, Jeff Clemente show. They're just watching them is a joy. It is a joy to watch how much fun they are having and how much they're just in love with the music and everything.
Each other.
And each other. Sure. And I feel like Mayer's, taking a little chances. He did some vocal embellishments last night on Franklin's. And
do you think, Kev, we're going to get another Mayer cover, or was that just kind of a one-off in LA deal? Because I thought when they did the Mayer Waiting on the World to Change that they would.
No, that's off of
but I thought it was I thought they'd bring in more of his like songs with that too. I thought we'd get more of his, maybe one or two.
I don't think they want to learn anything.
You think they're past that point?
I think they're past that point.
Well, I mean, the only old guy is Bobby. I mean,
you don't think they're going to have anything. But as we talked about, you and I before, do you don't think there's going to be anything different about the 3 San Francisco shows as kind of 3
separate
shows?
Yeah, they're going to be on island on themselves. All the other everything else you think you knew before is going to be thrown out the window before those 3 shows. When I was talking to Matt last night, I asked him, I said, what's the coolest songs you can pull from? And he said, usually they do 100 different tunes across the tour, but 20 to 30 of them are only one-offs. So every night almost you get a song that they're only going to do once, which I thought was pretty cool. It hasn't played out that way because last night we got 4 songs that they hadn't played at all on tour, 5. And when we were in Phoenix and Dallas, they did a bunch of repeats from the first 2 nights. So,
I mean, it's a number. It's like an average game, right? Like over the whole tour, we'll see how that shakes out. It's funny that you say John and Clemente, though, because I kind of thought Oteil sound. I mean, I'm a huge Oteil fan, but like he sounds great. He always sounds great. It's hard for him to stand out because he's just a old reliable there, just always nailing it.
And he's on the other side of the stage.
Another guy having fun out there. Like,
I love his dance moves and the face paint and God, his whole vibe. I saw Mickey put out a video through his social media, or his guy did, or somebody did, and it kind of got me pumped up for him. Actually, I was like, "Good for you," because like I don't know, I never really think about Mickey. Like I was like, but like he did a video with like the drum racks and like with some clips from the different drums and stuff. Did you see that, Kev?
No, I did not.
It was
No.
cool though. I was like, all right, like I don't know, it got me kind of hyped up for more shows.
Is it on the Instagram?
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah.
The
Okay, I don't do
Instagram.
the Instagram.
No.
No.
That's why that's why wook+'s Instagram is lacking a little bit. A little bit.
True.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna Mickey. There's parts last tour. It was Billy that looked like he was ready to pass out playing back there on certain songs, and Mickey now is kind of that guy that looks like until he gets into drums. Once he goes into drums, it's like he wakes up and he's like, all right, I get to get on the beam now. It's my moment to shine. And then he looks good. And then as soon as he sits back down, he like, I don't know. Yeah, he looks. The kid's called the grand. I just also that he's got Jay sitting next to him now, and he looks so much younger and vibrant.
And the switch to playing with the dildos is a weird.
Yeah,
like,
it's. I mean, the rubber and the gloves, and the dildos.
I think Mickey is there to play the beam. He gets his 5 minutes on the beam, and he's like, "I'll show up for the rest of the show. I just want my 5 minutes on the beam."
Yeah. Well, he's there to make really fat paycheck, because what else is he going to be doing?
And wear the merch.
And wear the merch.
Now, have you noticed his drums, Tim? He has like in front of him, he doesn't have like whatever the snare drums are. He has congos that he's playing.
Yeah,
maybe
he
that's
has like
why
a traditional percussion setup, a more traditional percussion.
Right.
But I think that, and I don't know, I'll have to go back. Like, I don't know what the evolution is, but I think that's been a slow evolution throughout all of Dead & Co. Right. And actually, even towards the end of Grateful Dead, right? Didn't they move a little bit further away from having just 2 full drum sets and started adding more and more auxiliary shit?
Tim, will you next time Hugh plays, will you play with dildos for us?
That has to be so hard though. I actually use jazz sticks, and like, not to bore you with the details, but they're light, they're small, they're a little bit lighter, and it's because like my fingers and hands get tired from using like big old. He has to be like insanely strong hands, either that or he's just going so slow. I don't know.
The gloves are actually covering his robot hands.
Right.
At the end of the night, he puts that skull on, and then he goes.
It's like Luke Skywalker. He actually had his hands amputated.
So that's what the gloves are for. But yeah, I'm very excited. Tomorrow night we get a show, so make sure 15 minutes after you check that out here. And on Saturday I get to go to the show, so I'm very excited.
Am I on Saturday? I guess that's this Saturday.
So
you are on, and a special guest, because I will be at a Dodgers Yankees game, so both of us will be taking the night off.
So if you got
Tim Talking Dead.
If anybody in the audience
there won't
wants
be
to
a show.
recap the Dead & Co show, hit me up.
You're hired.
No, I have opinions. I can share opinions. Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's see what else is going on out there. Oh, do you guys see Phish is cashing in again with another LP release, this time with Farmhouse? That's pretty cool. It kind of got me thinking about how, in my opinion, Farmhouse is a little bit of an underrated album. There's I think there's some great songs on there, and I don't know if it gets the credit that it deserves.
For $25, you can get Mountains in the Mist in addition to the 2 LPs. If you buy the 45 for an extra $25, it has Driver.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's not just Mountains in the Mist.
Driver backed with Mountains of the Mist, which I don't know how that didn't shoot straight up to the charts.
I like Driver a lot, actually. I used to sing that or play it to my daughter when she was younger, but I don't have an album, like a record player, so
yes, David.
I don't collect vinyls.
Yeah, like David said, he pre-ordered it a month ago. I saw stuff about it.
Yeah, which is weird because didn't they say that it was releasing, or the pre-order started today, but they've already.
Right. Well, Phish said that today. Everybody else knew a month ago and started trying to cash in themselves.
Oh, you gotta love that. So all right, why don't we go a little? We'll throw in around the horn here, and you guys, we could discuss what your favorite song off of Farmhouse
Do
is.
you have a list of those songs available?
Oh yeah, you couldn't remember Mo?
I know it has the in-law Josie Wales.
You're supposed to say that
Where's your banner on the bottom, Kev? Like the set list. Ooh, even fancy.
You-
Oh, there you go.
you know him. You're just worried about the people in the audience. You want
I want everyone to see. So
You
I mean,
want a
First
fair play.
Tube did get a Grammy nomination off of this album for Best Rock Instrumental. They didn't win, but that's a
Really,
nice feather in your cap.
If you look at this though, this is definitely the best Tab album that they've released by far.
By far.
Right. Yeah. So what do we have? First Tube, Gotta Jaboo, Sand were all debuted with the trio right before this.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Heavy
I'm probably going Twist overall for history. I think has had and Piper. Yeah. I mean, Piper I think's like the more obvious one. I think Twist has had some really good sneaky jams that people don't think about, but like had some really good jams.
Right. I feel like it isn't cohesive, the album. It's like a bunch of songs thrown together, whereas when you listen to Story of the Ghost or Billy Breeze, it seemed cohesive. Like there was a thematic unity to all the songs.
I think there is a theme to it though, like a musical theme. I don't know. You know what's weird, and I don't know if I'm going to describe this right, but when you say like Billy Breathes or Story of the Ghost, they sound like those albums, right? Like it's the Ghost sound or the Billy Breathes sound, but the theme for this is the Phish sound. Like this is the most I don't want to say generic because that has like a negative connotation, but like the most clean example of, in my opinion, like that Phish. I like Paper and First Tube and Jaboo. Like those are very very fishy songs. Tabby
Accessible. They're the most accessible.
Yeah, it could be that.
Like the album overall, right?
What's up, Llama? How you been?
Hey, you've been all right.
What's your favorite song off this album?
Farmhouse, man.
Yeah, that's a go. I mean, it's definitely accessible.
Yeah,
it's a great song.
It's a good song, man. Yeah.
I mean, No Woman, No Cry is as popular as it is because it's a great riff. And Trey was like, fuck it, let's roll with it.
Right.
Well, yeah. Do you ever hear Tom talk about that story of them writing? And I think they were just fucking around.
Mm-hmm. And there was a note on the table.
Yeah, and the note on the table. And yeah, that's funny. It's like the whole cliche joke of it really was quite literal. Yeah, Zook, I agree. I'm just surprised nobody said Dirt. Even though I'm one.
You know what the
one
thing
of
with
the people.
Farmhouse is? When Farmhouse came out, it was the closest thing besides maybe like Fast Enough for You that they had to a serious, composition kind of song. And I just feel like the lyric doesn't demand that from it, from what the music is. I think it could have had a better lyric and been a really classic song,
Yeah, sure. I agree.
Outside of Phish. By classic, I mean like something that other people would have heard and been like, oh, that Phish song. Like people say Touch of Grey. They're like, oh, yeah, I knew the Grateful Dead.
Well, what is Fish's Touch of Grey? Bouncing?
No, nobody knows Bounce because it was so early.
I feel like everybody knows Bouncing.
It's like what you listened to in kindergarten.
But it was also when they were peak, though. Like
right, it would have to be something from 3.0, right? Or like Sigma Oasis, maybe, right?
No, I guess it depends who you're talking about. But like people that work that like make that awkward conversation at the like coffee bar, the water cooler, like, oh, you're going to see Phish? I remember that song. And they remember when they were like on MTV and like were popular in the 90s. They don't know what's right. Down with Disease. I think Bouncing, like I feel like the shit that was
right.
Or something they played when they were on something like when Chad on SNL or like somewhere, when
right. I saw him on SNL. I saw him on Letterman or
and recognize that song.
Yeah, David's right. And Heavy Things was the one that they did the whole cheesecake thing in New Year's that they went live to do. That was the song they picked to do live on Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's or whatever it was.
I'll give you all that, but you asked what was Phish's Touch of Grey, which would be what would be their career resurgence hit.
Yes,
is
you're
that
right.
what
You're
I-
absolutely right.
Yeah, I did say that. All right.
Yeah, it's
Touche.
made Garcia a millionaire.
So what is it then?
I don't think they've had it yet.
Oh, it's still coming.
It's
Okay.
never
I think-
coming.
It's never come. Well, I mean,
Let me ask you
resurgence
this,
is.
Llama. Let me ask you this: do you think that it can happen in the climate today where there isn't radio and there aren't singles, there isn't product?
I mean, it would. I don't know. It would take something like the Dolphins, like seeing that. I think something live
The
or something.
Dolphins?
And MSG,
Or-
like that moment,
Oh.
like doing something viral
Right.
that would relate to the band instead of just like because
That was kind of cool. That went viral last
point,
time.
right?
Yeah.
It would have to be something like that because
Right.
to Kev's point, there's not really music.
But
in it,
a catchy tune is gonna be catchy and catch on, right?
Right.
But
But there's so much saturation. It
Yeah.
goes, for me, it goes back to when I went to the album store to buy Flick of the Switch or Judas Priest Turbo. I had to choose which one to buy, and I was either going to be Team AC/DC or I was going to be Team Judas Priest because I was putting my money in, and I couldn't go home on YouTube and listen to the other one. You know, back then in
There's
'87,
commitment.
you bought that Grateful Dead album. You were
I don't
invested.
understand this problem that you're talking about. The biggest problem I had was how much space my iPad Nano could hold.
Right. That's like the equivalent is like, I only have 8 gigs. I got
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying, that there couldn't be a touch of gray today.
I agree
Because
with
of
you.
that,
Yeah.
because it's how much space do I have on my iPod to put 9 million tunes, and I've not invested in any of them.
Okay,
I can
but
just take as much as I want.
I agree with you within the jam scene, but I think there are artists that transcend all that bullshit right now, right? Like the
Right.
Taylor Swift stuff you see. I don't know any of the songs again. Like this is gonna be something I shouldn't really be talking about. Which, by the way, as an aside, I just want to say, like, nobody gives a fuck about your Little Mermaid opinions. I know it's a weird thing for me because like my daughter loved it and I went online and she was so excited about it. And all these grown ass men with like "Don't tread on me" fucking flags are like, oh, they shouldn't have done that. I was like, who gives a fuck? It's for kids. Why? Anyway. But like my point is that there are artists that transcend this. I just don't think we're gonna have it in this community or this scene. I think the Grateful Dead was like kind of spanned multiple scenes and was a different beast. I don't think even Phish is at that, that kind of level. But I think an artist could hypothetically break through all the shit. It's just a lot harder now.
Do you think any jam band out there today could hypothetically have a crossover hit?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. There's a group, Kendall Street Company, out of Virginia. They have a very Dave Matthews kind of sound for what they're doing more recently. They have a song "Lost Together" that, if there was a marketing juggernaut behind them, like a record company pushing it, I think could have broken through on the radio.
Shapiro.
Yeah, it also only takes. I was gonna go the other direction than this and say like a good cover of a pop song or something by a jam band that gets popular, or even a collaboration. Like, who's to say? For some odd reason, they, like you have a live festival, like they're there, they jam with somebody, or they just happen to be in the studio. Like, so you never know. Like, collaboration or a cover song could always blow it.
I've always said that Humphreys the Silent Type, if you've never seen the video, check it out.
Yeah.
If that had been released in 1991, they would have been the biggest thing on MTV and they would have completely blown up. But nothing like that exists anymore for them. And the song was released 15 years after that or whatever. And it's, it's a great song, but it.
Well, there's also a weird thing with our community, I feel like, and it goes positive and negative. Is like jam band fans don't accept the band if they're too mainstream or whatever. But then also mainstream, I think, is resistant to accepting music from a band that they consider to be too jammy. It's almost like it's insular of each other, where like you have to have a vibe and do the jam thing, and it's all about live music, right? And so it's good on one hand because you have probably some of the most loyal fans in the industry that'll go on tour and follow you, right? Which is great. But on the other hand, I think it makes it almost harder to break through, because there are certainly Humphrey songs is the first band I thought of, Kev, too, that could, and Goose, and obviously maybe not Phish, but like there are bands that have certain songs that you think would be able to break through, and I think for whatever reason they don't.
Right, but Humphreys would have been on 98 Rock, and Goose would have been on the adult contemporary
But it's
station.
also
like the
do
hipster
they-
channel or whatever.
But
the
do they
college
want to
radio.
break through? Because look at like bands like I look at like Blues Traveler kind of broke through that back then, and kind of and Dave, and look at and there's kind of a
Dave
backlash.
is a jam band though. That's
Right,
the
but
thing. Once you break through, you aren't considered a jam band by the
right,
fans.
that's what I mean. Then you lose that
True.
kind of segment and that fanship, because then they're kind of like, oh fuckers, they're like now pop.
I remember getting in a fight with, not like a real fight, like I'm a peaceful guy, but like in an argument with somebody at a bar in college, because they were like, oh, I hate fucking jam bands, and they had the fucking Dave Matthews Girl thing, like that like sticker on his
The
truck.
fire dancer, yeah.
The fire, and I'm like, Dave Matthews is a fucking jam band. Like you can't say you hate jam bands and then go to a Dave show.
because he crossed over to pop world and like became theirs, so then they could own it, and the jam to a point, to an effect, kind of disbanded and was like, fuck that guy, like he's not a good band, you know what I mean? Even though so it's a weird line to cross and a weird thing for
Do
bands.
you guys
I
like
think, to go
Dave?
through.
I like Dave, but whenever I say it
I
publicly,
mean-
I get so much shit for it.
I mean,
I liked it. I was a huge fan when he started, like back seeing him at Red Rocks, and when he opened for the Dead in Vegas, like a huge, like, yes. And I don't really, when he transferred more to poppy, and I didn't really like follow that journey and those songs and kind of into that realm, but I don't have a problem with him. And I think the band it's impressive to me that he's held the band together through all the crazy shit they've gone through. It's like not even, what's his name? Leroy died, and
Yeah.
what's his name?
The other guy got in
Child
trouble.
molest, whatever, with Boyd or whatever. And so it's crazy. But I mean, Carter's still awesome. He's one of the best drummers in the world, and he's fantastic.
By far.
And so, I mean, I still think I don't have a problem with Dave at all.
It is the same thing as in the punk community, though. Like
Right,
when
yes.
the Clash signed with a major record label, and everyone was like, "Screw them! They sold out, yada yada." So you get that, but maybe if you're willing to take the jump and take the backlash, those people eventually come back around because they see the rest of the world has embraced the thing that you used to love.
And and it just sort of becomes I always remember the Chili Peppers, like, well, no, they're sell out, like fuck selling, and then they're in the Gap doing Gap ads, like in the like Gap ads, and you're like, what the fuck happened there? But then it all comes back around, and you're like, oh well, I guess it's cool.
Well, because those people are the same ones that are like, oh, fucking Gap, they always have assholes. Why don't they have good music on? And then like they try to reach out and have like the music that you like, but then you're like, fuck that music, I don't like.
They sold out, those sons of bitches.
So what we're trying to say are people suck.
You can't think of it as selling out.
No.
It's cashing
not
in.
not anymore, because it's a brand too. Like you are the brand.
If you get it, like an instrumental, a lot of these jam bands are instrumental. You got like a Papadisio who do a lot of instrumental stuff, if they could figure out how to get sync licensing, that's where you're going to make your money. You get one good sync license, it's $10,000. That pays for your operation for 2 or 3 months,
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
What a
is
sync
that?
license is when
Yeah.
a TV show uses your song.
Oh, like syndication?
A sync license.
Huh. Kev's been reading books on
like
music
what
management.
what we gave Jason to use his song as our intro.
Hey, here we go. Here's a good one. No, well, dude, sorry. There you go. Yes, I would. And I've seen Sonic Youth a few times, and we did a whole series. Llama and I had started a series on the blog called "Are They a Jam Band?" And I did Dire Straits and Bo Diddley.
Are those jam bands?
I would consider both of them, yes, because they write good songs. They're willing to experiment with the song itself live, jamming, and the set list change. Once Dire Straits released Brothers in Arms, they did the same set list every night. But if you go back to 78, 79, 80, when they had their first couple albums out, the set list changed every night. Sonic Youth jams a lot. They do, David, and they change the set list all the time.
Yeah, I could get behind that.
I got a question real quick. You
Okay.
keep hammering home like they change the set list every time. They change the set list every time, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say hypothetically that a jam band goes on tour and all they want to do is play their new album, right? So it's the same set list, but the jams are different every night.
Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey did that at one time. They did the same set list every night for a whole tour. And yes, it was different every night. But what they were built around was what Brian Haas talks about, creating new songs in real time from where you are. So they basically, it was the set list was a skeleton to fill in, as opposed to
a starting point for everything, and then they could go from there, which is kind of cool. I mean, because it's the same, but it's not the same every night.
Well, I mean, I know it's been a couple of years, but we're not really that far away from that with Phish. I remember fall 16, right after Petrichor. What was that?
Big Boat?
Big Boat, right after Big Boat came out. Every show because that was the last tour I did, like the whole tour. Every show we had the same 2 or 3 songs from that album. I mean, it's not like the whole exact same set list, but yeah, I think if you jam and improvise, that's what constitutes a jam band. But Kev is right. I think switching the set list up is a symptom or an indication as well.
Right, but
are you a jam band? Here
it is the killer.
The National changed their set list up all the time too, but they don't jam the songs. They just have a deep enough catalog that they can rotate songs.
So
right?
They're not a jam band,
right? They fit one of the criteria. I guess we have to come up with a list of what the 3 or 4 criteria are, and if you can knock 3 of the 4 off, then you can be a jam band.
I'm gonna say we don't do that, considering we couldn't even agree amongst the 4 of us what rock and roll was. I was like, let's not go into the crazy meta world of defining jam bands.
Yes, it was Sonic Youth and Social Distortion, and that was the Raging Glory Neil Young tour. I saw that too. I don't know, Llama, are they?
I'll let you know. I'm going to see him this summer, so I'll let you know. I'll have to get back to you. I got to experience it live, I think, to make an actual call. I'm leaning towards yes, but
right.
But
Pearl Jam, I would say no. Slayer, I don't know enough about him. I saw him once, and the bass player was an asshole to me. I worked the concert, and he cussed me out because his bass was out of tune, and I was like, "Fuck you, dude! I'm making $4.50 an hour."
What did you do working at the? What did you do there?
I pushed the boxes off the truck into the venue, and then I sat in the back room. They wouldn't even let us stand on the side of the stage.
Sat in the back room.
It was a painter's mill in Owings Mills, Maryland. The place burned down. It does not exist anymore.
I agree with Jason. You need to have like a venue name as a jam, or a town name, or a city name, or a state. That's when you know you're a real jam band.
Or like a mountain.
Yeah, Mountain Jam. That was for the first time I ever recorded an acetate. That's how it started. It was like, Studio A jam, Freak Room jam, because we had this place we used to play that we called like the Freak Room, and like everything was something jam. All right, you want to keep moving? We have a lot of shit happening. Believe it or not, it felt like it was a slow period of time, but there's all sorts of stuff going on.
Oh my God, so much going on.
Well, they just did the last and a lot of finals, by the way, like with Dead & Co. and Twiddle, and then they just had the
Lasso and
oh, dude, I watched that today.
I cried.
No, shut up. Hush, mute, both of you.
Well, you haven't seen it yet?
No, not yet.
All right, spoilers. It was. I won't say anything specific, but I will say
I cried.
It was satisfying.
But I cry. I forever cry. I cry at fucking Hallmark commercials.
So. Yeah, well, actually, we went to see Little Mermaid, and I look over like 6 times throughout the movie. My wife's bawling her eyes out. Granted, for context, she's pregnant, so like literally anything can make her cry. But
I took Cayenne to see the Hannah Montana movie when it came out, and when they did the song, she sang to her dad. I was bawling my eyes out.
Oh, dude, dad stuff, I can't handle that. No, I wanted to talk about summer camp though, because this was a big one. This has been 2001, so like 20 years, 22 years.
2003, yeah, it was 20 years.
Oh, all right.
2003 is the first time Humphreys played.
Right, that's when
Right.
Humphreys
I
joined.
think the history went in '99. They did the Summer Sessions tour, and it grew out of that. That was Galactic, String Cheese, Mule, and Mo, and they each played like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then a couple years, then there was nothing in 2000 and 2001. It reemerged as Summer Camp.
Yeah. And I mean, I've not made it to personally, like in person, but they have always have videos coming out from them, and it's some of the best jams I think Mo does have come out of that. I'm more on the Mo side of the spectrum. I think Mo and Humphreys are perfect endpoints on a jam spectrum, and I think and I like both, but I'm probably more on the Mo side of it. But I was listening to this past one and some tapes of it, and man, that Rebubula. So they do this thing where they switch off mid-song, so like more musicians start coming on from the other band, and then musicians leave. And one of the songs that they did that this year was for Rebubula. I was like, that is so damn cool. But it's funny because I think Humphreys is a little more tight. Is that the right? Like they're a little more talented,
precise.
Yeah, they're very precise, like math rock, you know.
Yeah, I liken them to the Allman Brothers meets Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
dual guitar, because they when the two of them get it, it's nothing.
Yeah,
like that.
And Mo's like,
Leonard
Skinner meets Led Zeppelin.
One year I saw Government
like a
Mule.
version of that.
One year I saw Government Mule on the Riverboat at a Jazz Fest night show, and Mo came out during Thorazine Shuffle. They started coming out and switched over. Then they were playing Thorazine Shuffle, went into one of their own songs, and then Mule came back out and played the end of the Mo song and switched back and finished Thorazine Shuffle. So it's the same kind of deal.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
I love it.
And
But the rest of that set, did you see the cowbell that they brought out?
Yeah, with the big fat stick. Well, and I love that they did those covers. So what they did the Talking Heads, Cross-Eyed, and fuck, I forget.
The American band, Don't Fear the Reaper.
And Ben came out. Talk about passing the torch. I mean, shit, everybody's all up in Trey's business, but I think Ben coming out with these guys, that's fucking passing the torch. Ben is the drummer of Goose.
But the rest of it, I heard that Bill Neshy, is that how you say his last name, from String Cheese, had Tavis come out with it and his wife, and they did a set. Apparently debuted a song or a couple new songs or one new song that people are saying to look for this summer in String Cheese's set list, something called Flying, I think. So I just, there's no streams. They've never broadcast it. That's what kills me, that you have to be there. It's like old school. If you don't go, you might hear it down the road. I guess.
No, there's usually good tape. There's usually pretty good tapes coming out of it, though.
Right. But
I was listening to them today. Yeah, you can't watch it live, though. Not like we do with like Phish and Dead and Co.
Right. Or even like Ronaldo Beach Festival. There's all kinds of festivals that do streams for the whole thing, at least the main stage at the place.
Yeah, Dave, you go.
Right.
So speaking of Humphreys, though, I saw actually Kev, you shared with us this frame by frame. They're doing a little rock doc. Kind of looks sick. I'm kind of excited about it. It's I'm
not sure what's going on though. It looks like it's just a lot of live concert footage.
Well, they had interviews.
Right. I wonder what the narrative, like what the arc of it's going to be. Just the 25 years, I guess, that they've been together.
I hope, I mean, I don't know, but I hope it's like just classic rock doc, like tell the story of the band, and give a little bit of history. I kind of wish we had another shot, like a legit shot to redo Bittersweet Motel and give like a proper documentary of Phish. And like, I know it would be at this point, I feel like impossible to satisfy the fan base and everybody have an opinion like an asshole, but that's not how the saying goes, but you know what I mean? But like, I used to watch rock docs all the time. Like when I was younger, I feel like that's like, I don't know, maybe it's a dying art form, and it would be
bring back behind the music.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's
or
exactly
even
what
was the one pop-up videos? What if they did like live shows? During the live show, they had pop-up video, like with facts about the songs popping up. That would drive people crazy.
That would drive you insane.
I tried to do that. I tried to do that when we launched wook+. I did that with a jam, and it got popped instantly because you can't share music like that. So I guess you'd have to get licensing for it. I wanted to do it for jams though. Like, you know how we always talk about like
The
but, like,
lick.
right, the lick or the whale noises or
Tease.
bleeps and bloops or whatever, or even then like throw theory in it, like when they had a modulation or like Trey's. I always hear Trey in the mixolydian, but like I feel like it's harder for some people. You know what I mean? Like it would be cool to have those things pointed out in a jam.
See, I
for
would rather
reference.
hear things like, for dinner, the band had chili with no beans. Yeah.
You got to mix that up.
During intermission, they all sat around and talked about.
I bet we could do that on Twitch or something.
Probably.
If we'd started a channel.
Or the Discord.
Or the Discord. I'm too old, man. I can't figure that shit out at this point.
Even but I figured out Discord, so come on.
I do hope Humphreys goes more of a traditional route and does like a proper rock doc. I think that would be sweet.
Yeah. What about Moe's doc?
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean, they got a good story. I mean, 2 people almost went down and came back, and they're better than ever now. I mean,
they sound fucking great right now.
I mean,
really good.
Yeah, we'll have to Mo call us.
Yeah, actually,
Vinny, what's up?
We should do that. Let's make that happen.
I need more of those. I agree. Like, you don't get enough. There's such interesting stories behind so many interesting. I mean, even just the small little interview Llama and I did with the Taper's Choice guys, you get such good and like nuggets just from the way that they think about playing and the way that they rehearse and the way they go into show. Just there's so many little interesting things that are so fun to find. And then what was cool was actually being able to go back into the shows and find those things that they were talking about and listen to those again and find those. And it's really cool when you can like put that in a film or something and find those moments of them talking about certain things and then find that footage and put it in there and really showcase it. Cause it's really cool. It's cool to hear the artist talk about doing the things and then being able to show
it. The thing is, if you get the artist involved, then you get everything cleared. You don't have to worry about YouTube because
bootlegging everything and getting popped by Brad and folk,
or whoever it might be, the Mo people. I think that there's probably, I don't know this, but I assume there's companies like if you own a record label, you pay some company that just keeps their eye on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's
the algorithm keeps the eye on it.
Okay, so YouTube's the narc.
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay. And they get away. And I don't necessarily blame them because they have these things built in to allow the ease of use. Otherwise, you'd have reviews and everything for everything. So to avoid lawsuits and to keep things easy, they just put everything on the algorithm and you agree to terms of service.
How do people get away with putting whole albums up there and monetizing it?
Well, so first of all, they were godfathered in, but then they don't get the money. They what do you call that? Relinquish the funds to the thing. So it's like if you try to put it on now, it's too late. But if you had put it on before that started, they had a choice. They could take it off, or they could say, "Hey, you could keep it on your channel. You give us free promotion, basically, but all the money goes to the artist." Which is the smarter move because otherwise the artists have the what do you call that? The burden of proving and also putting it all up there. They rather just take the money and be like,
so YouTube's theory is guilty until proven innocent.
Yes.
No, yes and no.
Yes. For the like they don't care. Yeah.
Right, but I mean the algorithm has to identify it, and it's only going to identify it if you're using it.
Respect the algorithm.
You better respect that. We were going to do Duran Duran. The shortest, this is trivia for like wook+ history. The shortest lived bit in history was how long of a Duran Duran song can we play before getting sniped? And we did it one night for like 15 seconds. And then the YouTube gods were like, no. Like, all right, well, that bit's out.
On film. You're out of there.
I don't even know why we thought that would be a good idea.
We were trying to figure out. We were trying to game the algorithm, and it was we
thought Duran Duran would be the perfect.
Maybe we need to play stuff backwards. You could play like the jam backwards.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Or
it
just
wouldn't get
really
popped.
I gave
random
myself
parts
hiccups. I apologize. You're gonna have to
in the
take
middle of the jams that don't really make sense to it that you can always steal and use random moments from it.
That was a game that they played. Trey and Mike played on Sirius, where they played a song backwards, and they had to guess the song, and those fuckers got it like right away. Like they figured it out. I was like, that takes some crazy. I mean, I
They
guess
know that stuff forward and backwards.
it's
Literally.
Oh god, the hiccups. Oh, all right. So here's a weird topic. But I when we were throwing out ideas, I actually really like this one because I don't know, I find it super interesting. So David Byrne has a new musical coming out in New York. It's called Here Lies Love. It's about the president or prime minister of
Argentina,
Thank
coupled with
you.
something else weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much
Oh,
what
with
you'd expect.
karaoke. It's
Right,
karaoke
right.
bars coupled with the woman who was in Argentina or Panama, Nemelda Marcos. Maybe
And
it was Panama.
85, so it's that whole, which was very much like a David Byrne vibe. But the problem is there's no musicians, no live musicians in the production. And if you don't know this, in New York, there's a labor union for Broadway that they have a rule that they passed that you have to have 19 professional musicians in any production on Broadway. Now they've had special exceptions. The first one that came to mind, I remember, was like Rent. When that came out, it was like a rock band was like the orchestra, and you can have exceptions, but
now this is for musicals, right? Because
yeah.
like something like Raisin in the Sun doesn't have music, but that play was on Broadway for years.
Yeah, I think it's
got to be a musical.
for musicals. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the idea is, and so what we're now to give the labor union like the credit or to like fully hash it out is they're used, and this was before AI even got really popular. There was a push, I remember 15, 20 years ago, of having the scores for musicals. Like you go to see like Phantom of the Opera and having the music from the pit be piped in. And there was technology then that would have dynamic music because like obviously the people singing aren't pre-recorded, so you had to have a way to have the music move with the actors and be able to slow down or speed up or adjust. And there was technology they developed 20 something years ago where they could do that. Now obviously that would be in a lot of people's minds a tragedy because it takes away from the experience and a lot of musicians lose work. But this case, and I agree personally, but this case, it's about karaoke and it's David Byrne in 85, and it's like, I think that is very much part of that vibe of that show, and I think he should win it. But
And he even has one song in there where some of the people in the cast are playing instruments. It's just not 19 of them.
We'll see, though. I mean,
Can't he just add a few more then in the background or something?
I think what they want is an orchestra pick kind of thing.
And they have minimum rates and shit.
Right.
Like night
So
rates.
that's probably
and
another 3,000-4,000 a night he'd have to spend putting the show on.
probably more than that, right? 19 musicians.
20 musicians at $4,000 is $200 for the night.
They're making way more than that.
You think so? Okay.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. In New York, dude. Pit musicians in New York City on Broadway.
I don't, David. I don't think it came up. What I read back then was because it was off Broadway. That this is something that's specific to Broadway.
And David
maybe?
is right. He did write it with Fatboy Slim, and the tracks are very specific, and it's old. This isn't something that they just wrote. Yeah, exactly, David. Man, we should have had David on. Everything he said is right. I was like, yes, that's right. Yes.
Yes.
But I agree with 19 cowbells. Maybe that would solve it.
I got it.
So how much do you think they get paid per night? $500, $1,000?
Yeah.
Which
but that-
one? I gave you two numbers and you said
probably that range. Probably, like
But
second,
how is
third
that
string.
sustainable if you're paying $10,000 a night for musicians.
Well, because every fucking ticket on Broadway, every seat is a couple $100.
I guess.
Like, that's big money, dude.
I know. I paid $200 a piece to see Wicked, and that was 10 years ago.
Right. Right.
But it was worth every penny to see Wicked live. It was.
I
Good.
agree.
Except for the woman behind me who shushed my 6-year-old because she was so excited and whispered something in my ear. I almost smacked that woman's teeth out her face.
I don't condone violence, but I would have condoned that, shushing a kid like that. God damn. I actually got to hang out with the cast of Wicked. It's like,
You
it
get
was cool.
Wicked?
Yeah, the ensemble, not like Idina or anything, but like the ensemble cast. It was cool. It was a cool experience. Anyway, what else do we have on this list? Les Claypool and Frog Brigade tour started. I don't really have much on that. I like Les Claypool. I saw him doing an interview recently where it was like this, like Zoom type interview.
Yeah.
Not as cool looking.
No, in real
When
life.
you take him off the stage and he doesn't have his bass, it's like,
well, they're doing Animals, and the band includes Skerrick, saxophone player out of Seattle. If people don't know who he is, and apparently he did something to his shoulder after New Orleans, so he missed a couple shows. And they called in the guy from Fishbone to play with him because Fishbone's on tour. Wow. Damn, I wonder how many nights that is, though.
I was gonna say
I don't want to say hours.
That's lower than I thought.
I guess part of that they're getting paid rehearsal too. I know Zappa always complained about doing his orchestral work that he could only do one rehearsal because he had to pay him the rate for the live performance for a rehearsal.
Of course you do.
Damn artists.
I'm with the musicians on this one. Right. Goddamn art. Where do you stand on the writer's strike?
I tell you what, Kim Kardashian, she crossed the line. I can't believe that.
What? Wait, no, seriously, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Kim Kardashian apparently went to her show today and went in to do some filming and crossed the picket line.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does she
But
write
she's
on
not
her
a
show?
writers.
Does she have writers on her show?
But I thought
It's like, isn't that reality
do you
TV?
really think that stuff is real? Come on, it's all scripted.
Of course
They
it's
probably
all
write more
scripted,
for
but-
that than.
I mean,
I just
don't
want
know.
to point out that Kev was asked a question, and his answer was to deflect to Kim Kardashian. So to repeat the question,
Yeah, thank
do
you.
you
Llama.
support the writers in the writers' strike?
Yes, of course I do. I support anybody who's striking. Anytime the workers are rising up.
It's not about the
Right,
artist
right,
or the integrity or anything. It's about the anarchy.
It is. Let's bring it on.
Yeah, I support anarchy. Fuck them.
It's a political philosophy. Look it up.
I mean, how can you not support the writers though? Like at this point,
Right, our good friend John Herman. I've been watching him tweet about.
I've been thinking about him a lot through this. Yeah,
You know,
and we've seen what bad writing can do to good properties too. It's like
Now,
writing is important.
T, how much does this affect? What does it affect the next season of shows coming up, or is it further down the line? Did they have next season already written?
no, it'll affect everything. Everything's already kind of been pushed a little bit now. Everything that was supposed to kind of debut or premiere in the fall has been pushed to spring at least. And then, so yeah, I mean, it'll, depending how long it goes on, we'll see. I mean, the last one was awful. Like, I remember that one when that happened. I was working, and a bunch of writers ended up coming to work for our company because they started just doing copywriting for promos and stuff, looking for work. But it was a big shutdown, and it fucked up things for a while. Hopefully, I mean, this one's a little different because of the streaming stuff, but it's necessary. There's some things that need to be worked out for sure, and it's a good thing for them for sure. The writers are
Now, is AI involved in the conversation?
a lot is in there about how much to use it, what you can use it for.
Who gets the credit?
Well,
Because the compute does the AI
no,
program own it?
I don't think it's the credit as much as the money. But I think the two biggest things, from what I understand, is the size of the writing room. Is because a lot of these streaming services have been using these like micro or mini writing rooms, which is just like a loophole to basically get slave labor rates out of the writers, and then the residuals and payment from the streaming services. And I think Netflix are the ones that are like boning everybody
completely.
Disney and like Universal and NBC, like they want to get this over with because they don't just have streaming; they have the TV networks, ABC,
Right.
and the movies and stuff.
And
But
movies,
Netflix is
right.
like,
Yeah.
Netflix is like, fuck you. It's streaming's all we have. I'm ready to, not
Every
that
time
anybody cares, but I'm
every
like,
time
fuck
I-
you, Netflix.
Every time I ask that stupid AI a question, it says I can't answer that. I'm not allowed to have opinions. So I guess I ask it all opinion questions.
What are you asking it?
Like what is the best Led Zeppelin album? Led Zeppelin has had several great albums, but I'm a program that cannot make decisions or whatever the fuck.
That's
Are
terrifying.
you looking
Because
for
when the computer's
AI's
telling
bad
you they
takes?
can't do that, that's exactly what they're doing.
AI's Bad Takes by Kev.
What can you do?
We should have a competition where we ask Kev like 10 questions or a game show and we ask AI 10 questions. And you have to guess.
See what the responses. See which one is Kev. and
Yeah,
which one's the
I gotta
robot.
flesh this out a little bit more, but I think there's something there. Shit, I forgot what I was gonna pivot to. Damn it, I hate when that happens.
Oh man. Pivot.
Oh man. So this summer, what you looking forward to?
All right, there we go. Llama, you have anything? You want to jump in here? We'll do around the horn with the whole group.
Dick's and Taper's Choice. And Llama coming out here for Taper's Choice.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to Taper's Choice for sure. And then the War on Drugs, mentioned that earlier. That's gonna be fun. Seeing it in the summer. Dead and Co. I got that right around the corner, so that's nice.
What show you going to?
Night 2 of Chicago and Wrigley.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Dead in
I got-
Chicago is always a good time.
I got
Yeah.
the Cure. I got the Cure. I'm looking at. I know Humphreys is playing Pier 6 again with Eggy opening, so that should be fun. I got Dead and Company Saturday, but last night my kid got to go see the Foo Fighters at the New Atlantis 930 Club that holds 450 people. Oh,
The Llama's like, fuck your story.
And she said that the club was just so neat. She said it was like a third of the size, half the size of the 930 Club, but it was the same way. It had the balcony and
so
but
why
they-
are the Foo Fighters playing such a small club?
because they have a connection with the 930 Club. Grohl is from DC. His first band, Scream, was in DC, and actually the singer from that band, Pete Stahl, came out to open the show with them, and they did a Bad Brains cover, who are DC
Awesome.
hardcore.
Wow.
So I mean, it was perfect. I was like, you were just
That's
the
so
luckiest
cool.
person. You're being jealous of your kids sucks. You know,
That had to be so loud in that place too. That small with them. That had to be so loud.
they played over 2 hours, went over curfew.
Wow.
Grohl had his kid come out and sing a couple songs. The guy from Queens of the Stone Age apparently has stepped into Taylor Hawkins' shoes on drums, which is, if you check the festival schedules where Foo's playing, it's neat because everyone has his band, Stone Age, is also playing. So I think part of the contract was like, well, let's get my band on the bill too.
Double duty.
Smart.
Queens of the Stone Age, that's what they're called.
Queens of Stone Age.
Yeah, no, that's
and
a
apparently
smart move.
it has a rooftop bar. You don't have to go outside to smoke. You can go up onto the rooftop bar and have a cocktail and a cigarette if you want, or hit your vape.
Yeah, that's convenient. What about you, T? Looking forward to anything this summer?
I don't know.
Like,
Other than,
you
like
know-
I said, the end of summer, Dick's, as always, will be fun. A little road trip. And then when Llama comes out, I think, what is it, August for Taper's Choice for Choice Fest?
That'd be
Round
fun.
2. That'll be fun. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
see about streaming it live.
That'll
Yeah,
be
our channel.
on August 5th.
August 5th. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Other than that, not really. I don't know. Fish tours back east. We don't really have any trips planned to go back east. So just yeah.
Is
Be
Choice
hanging out.
Fest several bands like last year? Did
They
announce
haven't
the rest
announced
of
the whole line. Yeah, they haven't announced the whole lineup yet. I did see a thing on Instagram today that they're coming soon, the full lineup announcement. But
That was wild, like a week ago or so when they tagged us. It was
I
like
know.
the members of the band and Llama and us. So it's like, that's cool. Feel very
That's cool.
honored.
Yeah,
very
you
honored.
should.
No, very cool. Check 'em
Quietly
out.
humble at this moment.
Yeah, I'm
Kev, are you going to Peach?
I want to.
Just
Yes,
afraid of
Llama.
that long walk.
A question.
Uh-oh.
If Queens of the Stone Age are releasing a new album this year and they still have their current drummer who didn't leave to join the Foo Fighters, what band did John Freese come from before he joined the Foo Fighters?
9 Inch Nails.
That was one of them, yep. And I think A Perfect Circle is the other one.
Mm.
That was that
Yeah.
was like an intense SAT question. What?
Oh, I'm here for stat corrections, aren't I?
Because they played a 9 Inch Nails tune the other night, I saw too. So that's cool that they covered that. That's sweet.
See, Kev, this proves that I'm listening to what you say, though.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, Lama, you're killing it tonight. This was a great episode. I felt really good about the team effort. The teamwork makes the dream work. Tonight was a great job, guys.
Yes.
I guess I should, for the 3 people that might even care, give you guys a Zelda update. I have cleared all the darkness out of the depths. I have cleared all 152 shrines. I have cleared all the caves and all the wells, and all I have left is Ganon. So,
Solo shot.
So yeah, I mean, after an insanely embarrassing amount of time put into a game, I'm coming towards the end of the first run.
So once you're done, what happens? Do you play it again, or is that just?
I mean, like done with the story, but like there's still tons and tons of map that I haven't explored yet. You're never done.
Are you gonna still finish the other games? Because did you finish all the other ones before?
No, that's probably what I'm gonna do. Is I'm probably in the next week I'm gonna finish this one, do the last boss, and then go back and hit the last like 4 OGs that I didn't get in time, and then come back to this and just play with it. Yeah, Ixo.
It's
Yeah.
very it's weird to me because when I was like 14, 15, I loved playing video games, even into my early 20s. But now I tried to play, I bought Tetris and was trying to play, and I was like, this is so boring. What am I doing?
Well, Tetris, man. I mean, it's fucking Tetris. There's been a lot of games between Tetris and now.
I liked Galaga. I used to like going to the arcade and playing. It was like, all right, let's go down the mall, and you'd go smoke a joint behind the mall and then go in and play video games.
The old arcade.
Oh,
the guy working there, some pedo,
We used to put a nickel in the old machine. We had 2 paddles.
It was a quarter. It was a quarter.
It was a quarter. Man.
Tetris is awesome, Nick. So you're damn right.
I wasn't like a huge gamer. I didn't like play a ton. I've had in recent years kind of like a revitalization with like the Zelda games, but I
like that Civilization game.
Oh, dude, that game is so fucking good. When the pandemic first came and we were at home. Oh, you remember?
We lost you for like 2 months.
Yeah, you're like I was like, I played for like 20-something hours straight. Holy shit.
My ex-wife came down one morning and found me with my head on the keyboard asleep because I had just been up playing it and just passed out head on the keyboard.
It's a great game.
So I quit. I haven't played it since then because I was like, you got a problem, man. I went to
That's
GA.
what we like about you. You know when you have a problem and you commit to the solution.
Well, you got to go 100%. Can't go 98.
Yeah, I love the path we take on these shows. Like and subscribe. Join us 50 minutes after Encore, after every Dead & Co show, after every Phish show, and every Wednesday night.
Hit that $sign too.
Yeah, come on. We need to get Kevin a new mic.
242 was a great game.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
And everybody, if you're going to be at Nissan, find us. Find me.
Find Kev.